Hello beautiful souls, coming back on my channel. If you're new here, I'm Homeira. I am uploading a few times a week. I'm no longer saying what days because I really like to do it when I feel like it, in the way when I'm divinely guided to share with you guys important stuff. Of course, I will be adding always on my channel some makeup tutorials, maybe some healthy recipes, who knows. If you guys are interested in this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, subscribe and like if you like this video. It helps me very much. And yeah, let's get on forward. Today we're gonna speak about traumas because I feel like many people, adults like us, young at heart, but no, really, many adults are realizing that take the traumas with us since we are kids, and that wounded kid, if you're not gonna take the time to heal, to give it love, to make it feel safe, then there will always be that wounded kid within you acting as an adult. What does this mean? What I mean is, you know, we are adults and all adults have fears, right? Sometimes you don't even know where this comes from. Most probably it comes from your childhood. Yes, I know, limitations, fears of, for example, being cheated on, that you're not enough, that you will never be happy, that you'll never find the right person for you, the right partner to, you know, love you, appreciate you the way you deserve. You know, these things all come from when we were kids, and most probably you do not even acknowledge that you have those kind of traumas, but you just say, I am fearing this, I'm scared of this, your negative thinking is thinking of this and that. But what I am here today to ask you, if you want to realize, understand where your traumas come from, keep listening to this because really it's so important. I have heard many people having this fear, myself included, because I'm human as well. Fears in general, fears of not being enough, as I said, fears of not being successful, fears of abandonment. You know, all these kinds of fears are normal. So it's not just you, it's not just me, it's 99.99% of the world, of the humans of this planet. So don't worry, because we as children have different perceptions, even from something that as parents you might not think that you would have traumatized the kid. Because of the kid's perception, he took it as a traumatic event and, you know, put it there, stored it inside their brain to always be alert in regards to that. So what I'm asking you to do, so you can understand if your fears are yours, if your fears are your parents, or if your fears are your ancestors' fears coming within you. Because also I need to clarify this, and that fears, I believe, come in three ways. Fears of your own, yeah, so fears of your own, fears of your family, and fears transmitted through the umbilical, I think it's called. So your mother was pregnant with you, it was transferred to you. That's the third one. Okay, let's start with the first. You know, the fears, you have to write it down. Take a notebook, take some time with yourself and write down your fears. All the fears that comes into your mind. I'm not enough, I will never be loved, I will never be successful, I fear abandonment. And what does abandonment feel like? Because some people may not even understand that that's an abandonment traumatic issue that you're having to deal with. So you have to understand it in order to become aware of it, so you can be able to heal it and let it go. So what I'm speaking here about, abandonment issues, it can be things like maybe you needed your mother or one of your parents when you were a kid, and you know, simple fact that they were busy and they couldn't give you the attention that time, you could have gotten the idea that, you know, this fear, this trauma of abandonment. The same is, you know, if they're at work and you're crying and you need them, you need their attention. You cannot understand as a kid that your parents has not left you forever. They just went to work because that's what, you know, they need to do, most of them, for a better future. But you as a kid may not perceive this as this. You might perceive it as I felt abandoned because when I needed my parents, they were not here. So what will I make this little child within me believe is that I will never have someone around me. I will never have someone being there for me all the time in my life. And isn't that sad? Because then we go into life as adults and maybe you never find the right partner. You go for emotionally unavailable partners. And that's again because in your mind you don't want to feel that abandonment trauma again. So you're choosing this kind of situations thinking that you will be safe. But of course you're not, because of course you're suffering and so on and so forth. Or you are attaching yourself more than you should have to a certain person, a certain situation, a certain job, a certain experience. Again, more than you should have, because maybe there was a certain period of time that you had to go through that experience to learn a lesson. But you're dragging yourself more than is needed because of this abandonment issues. So therefore you might all try to please people because of your fear of abandonment. So you will try to please others, make others be happy with you, not thinking if you are happy with them, with the situation, with the crowd you're hanging out with your partner, with any experience situation, as I said before, in your life. You're not thinking about you. Do I want to stay here? Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling respected? No. It's the other people's needs before you, even though you're not happy, because you're scared of losing them. I feel like this is so sad. And don't get me wrong, I passed through it, and that's why I know it hurts. Hurt is a small word that you cannot even express or explain the pain you have in your heart because of doing this. And not just your heart, then it's your mind, then it's your soul, your spirit. That is like, what are you doing? Like, this is it. Like, we had to learn that lesson and move forward. Why are we hanging here when it's done? Why are you hanging in places that is not for your highest or greatest good, or for your happiness, or for positive, energies? Why? And here is the answer. Because you have a trauma as a kid, and that little kid in you needs some healing to do. Needs you to have time with that little kid. Reassuring it, changing the story of what has traumatized you, knowing or unknowingly, in your childhood. And you might not always remember what traumatized you as a kid, because sometimes our brain, trying to protect us, is going to block certain traumatic experiences as children. So when you grow up as an adult, you tend to forget them. But once you go deeper and deeper, once your body starts knowing that it's safe to start, opening, once your brain knows it's safe for the brain to start opening up to what you need to heal, and this does take time, you will realize what you wrote down, you will get the answers to as if it's your trauma, where it stems from, and then you can take actions to heal it. Or if it's coming from your parents' traumas, or if it was transferred to you energetically from your ancestors. For example, and I will give you such a funny example. And funny and not funny. Let me get comfortable, because we're gonna get a bit deeper here. My parents, let me give you a behind the scenes before I get right to the point. My parents have been workaholics. Thanks God, we had all our necessities met. But for me, when I started going to uni away from everyone, etc., I started having this issue of insomnia. Like, I couldn't sleep hours. I was sleeping only about 3-4 hours, and there was one thought coming to me over and over again. Mind you, I was 18-19 years old. So at that point you wouldn't have to think that far yet, because you just started uni, you know, like you have a process to go through. Like first finish uni, do your best there, and then you're thinking about job prospects, I guess. But no, for me, I just started uni, and all that was coming into my mind was, oh my god, you lose everything. You lose everything. You lose your family, you lose everything, literally everything. You'll have no money to eat, this. Like, mind you, I never passed through these experiences, and I didn't understand where they were coming from until I went through a healing session my first year at uni. So during the first summer that I had vacation, I came back to my home country and I did this healing. What I realized then, it was that it wasn't my fears, it wasn't my parents' fears, it wasn't my grandma's fears, it was my great grandma's fear. Because after learning that, we digged in more into the past of my great grandma, and basically it was justifiable for her to feel this way, because at those times it was very tough moments for our family. So looking back, you know, you just realize how we have so many thoughts and so many fears that are not even our own, or all the fears that you might be having. I know the brain does this, right? It's so smart that it's trying to always hide certain stuff from us until it feels like we're over that alert mood, which if you are having major traumas, you're never over survival mode. So it's great if we start working here. So write it down and take the time with you. Take the notebook with you. Maybe throughout the day you will get more ideas or remember what other fears you're having. Then write down next to it where it stems from. So, you know, I remembered that I felt this way then. Get an approximation, guess with the proximity how old you were, and then write the story. Okay? And here is the harder part. If it's yours, right, because it's coming from your childhood, you will take 1 week at least, one fear. So every week we work on one fear. And first, like imagine a kid. You as a kid at maybe 5-6 years old, and speak with it. Hug her or him. Love him or her. Tell them you are safe. I am here for you now. I love you. Again, you are safe. I am now old enough, mature enough, strong enough to take care of both of us. You no longer have to feel like you need to be in survival mode, because now I'm old enough to take care of you. You are safe. I love you. And give it so much love, like you give it to a baby. I'm back. So my camera decided that she was too hot. The topic was too hot for her, that she wanted to shut down. So hopefully I'm gonna get back to where I was left by my amazing darling camera. Anyways, let's get back into what we were speaking about, traumas and how to heal them. So after you write your story about what you remember when that trauma happened in your childhood, it's time, as I said, to give love, to spend time with the inner child that is within you. Spend time with them, with him or her. Give it love, give it understanding. That understanding that you were expecting from your parents as a kid. And then after you did this for at least a week, up to a month, you will start feeling better, by the way. You will start feeling inside of you that empowerment, that I can do it, that I healed it. You will know within you when it's healed. And there is another exercise. I would like you guys to do it, which is Hoponopono. It's basically, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So say to the inner child, say your name, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then if those traumas are in regards to certain people in your life, or they caused this to you, which most probably that was the case, say it again. I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And why is this important? Even though you don't need to be sorry for them, but you are going to let go of the energetical cords between you two guys, between you and the person that has traumatized you. And also by doing this, you're letting go with love and light. Also, you're forgiving at an energetical level. So then you have those rocky burdens all of your back, so you can, achieve whatever you want to achieve. Be happy, basically. Find that inner peace, because what we all are looking for really is happiness, inner peace, appreciation, right? To feel special. So you can do it as often as possible per day, at least for 40 days. So I'm sorry. Now moving forward to changing the story. I know, right? This is going to be a crazy twist because it actually works. So we change the story because once you change the story in your mind, you are changing the story in what happened. So once you change your story, you're gonna change the story in memory of your past, and you will be able to be free and achieve whatever you want. So whatever trauma happened, say it in the way that you want it to happen, in a positive way, and let it go. By the way, be ready to let go of the past and move forward, right? So write down what you wanted to happen, and get a bit of your brain, get a bit of your mind, play with it a bit, because it's for your own good, how you want it in a positive way in the story to be. And also, before doing that, I want you to write down the positive things that you learned, that you took from those negative experiences, because there is always a positive lesson that is going to be learned from those negative experiences. Maybe it helped you become more confident in yourself, or more responsible, or stronger mentally, physically, who knows, all this kind of things. More compassionate towards you and others around you. So who knows, again, make sure you write that list, and then you're going to changing the story of the past. So we start with writing down our fear, then we're writing down our past memory about what age did that happen. We are doing the Hoponopono exercise for at least 40 days for you and for the people that caused the trauma. Then we're gonna take the positive things we took from this negative experience, and then we're gonna change the narrative. I know it's crazy, right? You're gonna change the narrative, like what am I? Oh well, once you change the narrative, you change that inner wounded kid, and you work on healing that inner wounded kid, you become invincible, you become powerful, you become free. Think of it like this. You have a backpack full of rocks, and those rocks are literally your traumatic past that you don't want to overcome, you don't want to heal, you like to be living in the past, and you carry it with you everywhere. You think can you run on a mountain with a heavy weight on your back? No, it will bring you right down. The success is high up on that mountain, but you need to run or even walk, but you will not be able to walk for too long, or to run towards that success, which is the best version of yourself, if you don't let go of the rocks, which is healing the past. Rewriting your memories, because our brain also has an amazing way of doing this, but exaggerating situations, even if we like or don't like it, and creating a worse memory than it actually was. And I'm not saying in any way or form that your experience was not very bad or traumatic. I'm just saying that it's time to let it go for your own good, so you can become the best version of yourself. Next is realizing, so after we pass through our traumas, realizing if those fears those limitations are yours or your parents. Ooh, and this is a hard one. Because you will have to look back in your childhood and spend a lot of time with yourself and realize what was the behavior between your parents, between each other, right? What was them saying to you and keep saying to each other, and you realize their fears because now you're an adult and looking back you can understand way more than when you were a kid. And then when you understand that they were not your fears, you can start, I let go of this. I affirm, again, change the trajectory of your thoughts. So when you have that list of what are the traumatic events that are not mine, the emotional traumas that are not mine, the self-limitations that are not mine, are stemmed from my parents, make a list and take one by one. And in each one, start doing an affirmation. So for example, they thought they will never be abundant, prosperous, free. Who knows, right? I am free, I'm prosperous, I'm enough, I'm successful, I can enjoy life and have financial freedom. Write those things down and keep reminding yourself about those things. Interesting point is that once you become aware of it, of the fears, you're 50% already on the way of healing, because you already clicked something in your mind to pay attention to. Okay, thirdly, like I gave the example earlier, is the fears coming from your ancestors. So once you look back in your childhood, and the fears are not stemming from there, okay, we look at the parents, the fears are not stemming from there, or people that we grew up near, the close family, and then we try to find out, okay, what are the fears exactly, and let's try to ask the surrounding, like our family, more about, is there anyone that has passed through a time of hunger, or where they lost something, or whatever the fear you're having. Just try to get more deep into it in your family and you will find that person. And then once you find that, say, I acknowledge your fear, say the name of that person, and say, but I'm not you. Thank you. And you can say even, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It would be very helpful because it will raise your vibration, and also, the vibration passed to you. And say, thank you, but this ends with me now. Please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you can say the name, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you.